So how do we fix all of these problems that we're having? So the problem is we actually need to look at what our voters are actually concerned about. And the Australian Federation Party is one of those parties that has looked at both sides and said we need to come to a middle ground, central policies. And we look at this from the point of the voter doesn't trust either side of politics. The voter's actually concerned about our environment and the selling off of our resources. We shouldn't be selling our water supplies. We need everything we've got right here. The voter's actually really concerned about the economic future of the nation, which is one of the biggest issues as well. And the final issue is actually COVID, which is a background issue now. And unfortunately, trust and confidence are unachievable unless a party provides a solution to these problems. So instead, they sledge each other. They can't find solutions, and it becomes a character assassination show, a circus. There are ways that we can do this, and the first thing is regenerative agriculture. We've got to start from the ground up. You know, we've seen even just in Victoria, you know, the Liberal Party is known for its neglect of regional Victoria, yet the Labor Party make empty promises, and that's from Gippsland all the way through to the Trove Valley. Across the entire state, Albury, Mildura, farmers have essentially been neglected through fires and the degradation of our soil, but also the impact of modern agriculture. Our initiatives are basically designed to shift to regenerative agriculture. We've even heard it from President Joe Biden himself that we need to shift to regenerative agriculture. But we can't just greenwash the matter, put it to the side. It needs to be addressed, and the companies that have destroyed the soil need to be held accountable for it. Whichever party actually chooses to adopt these programs will not only win the farmers' vote, but win the vote in total in terms of the economic outlook of this. Without an environment, you've got no economic output. And then we move on to the economy itself. The environment and the economy are linked. Does that make sense? So, and the reason why we need to do, and here's where it gets really interesting. The government is actually inept. It's slow moving, it lacks innovation. The government, we need to commit to actually reducing the size and the scope of the government. We've seen the growth of the government over the last, call it 20 years, by even just in Victoria, by 5 times. And this is essentially caused by the government's desire to increase its manpower due to the fact that brilliant minds and private sector entrepreneurs are not inspired to run for their local seats. So we end up with these inexperienced career politicians that have no clue about the real world. They couldn't even read a balance sheet, let alone run a fish and chip shop while they make fun of Pauline Hanson. So I think every single politician there should be tested in terms of whether or not they could actually read a balance sheet or a basic zero accounting platform at all. And if you can't run a milk bar or a fish and chip shop or read a balance sheet, then you shouldn't be running the biggest balance sheet in the country and running up deficits like we are. Here in Victoria, we hold the title. We hold the title for the greatest deficit because we have a career politician running our government who has no understanding of economics, has no understanding of a balance sheet, has no understanding of what happens when you borrow money and you print money and you drive small business to the ground. You destroy middle class.